We've had Google enter location-based services. Facebook, I suppose, is entering in various ways. Skyhook, with its Wi-Fi based solutions, recently has sued Google. So my sense is the contention among very large players, both incumbents as well as challengers, is heating up. How do you view the entry of these companies who are not sort of classic, traditional, location-based companies into the space? What impact are they likely to have on the incumbents? And how are your companies responding?
Yeah, so I think we can classify, location into like two different segments. So the assisted GPS, which has traditionally been the carrier's core strength, is still going to be pretty much available only to applications that really have a business model around them. And the fact remains that there's network costs involved around that, so we can't just give those away for free. And then on the other side, we'll have all these other location technologies that are being deployed very widely, which Skyhook and Google have come out with, that enable the long tail of data, where these are applications that people are using for fun or for recreation, social networking type of things. And so what we've done is basically segmented that off and provide similar services which are consistent across our devices. So a developer who's developing applications doesn't have to really program to something which is specific on Android. They can take our location service, which is cross-platform, and make it a very high quality of service, because we offer all of these in a 5 nines environment, very reliable, very consistent location across the different handset platforms. So the problem that was mentioned in the morning, where somebody was here and the location was actually in New York, that doesn't happen with our location solution. We update the location database, which is based on cell IDs, et cetera, every night. So I think that is what kind of drives the usage. So I think there'll be different providers, and the developers will have a choice of what they want to do, depending upon what their application is and what's their requirement for a quality of service.
Okay, very good. Others on the impact of Google, Facebook, others entering these markets?
Yeah, might notice that for indoor space, we haven't seen them entering yet, but they are mostly, in my view, they are trying to replace the GPS there to have a more global, wide area location with the Wi-Fi access points that are there. But to do the indoor location with the floor and room accuracy is actually a pretty complicated task, and we haven't seen Skyhook or Google entering in that market yet.
What makes it more complicated?
Well, if you look at the way it's done is that you have a Wi-Fi signal strengths, and then you have a location server that is receiving those signals either from cell phones or Wi-Fi tags, and then using that for calculating location. But the problem with the signals is that in the Wi-Fi environment, they're jumping up and down all the time, and it's really a chaotic RF environment. So it's pretty difficult to provide a service to enterprise like a hospital that would be really reliable and accurate indoors, and therefore the deployment and implementation per each building or campus requires some special expertise, and I'm happy to say that it's so difficult that there are not too many competitors there, but it's still a market where we have maybe 5 to 6 different people, but vendors, but Skyhook and Google are not those.
That's an important point. So as we think about applications and the capabilities of various platforms, some applications require higher levels, more consistent precision, and particularly indoor in hospitals and the like may be a classic example. But as you pointed out, even the applications, long tail versus short tail, that distinction is important as well. I read recently that a city in France, and I'm forgetting which city it is, but it's sort of the capital of NFC experimentation and deployment. So as we think about NFC, which often is not discussed in the context of location, should we be thinking about NFC as part of this ecosystem, or is it separate? And if so, what are the implications of that?
Yeah, I think if we look at the overall location experience and what we were talking about, right? So another way to look at it is looking at it as a, you can say, wide area location experience to a local area location experience to a personal area location experience, right? So in the traditional sense of WAN, LAN, and PAN, if we break it similarly on location side, in the wide area location solutions, you're looking at things like cell ID, cell tower information, triangulation, or even the GNSS, various satellite systems, not just GPS, but Galileo, GLONASS, and the likes. So those would give you that wide area coverage global. Then you come into the local area network sort of a thing, which is in buildings, inside shopping malls, inside stadiums, inside office complexes and stuff like that. And this is where Wi-Fi and elements of even Bluetooth actually can be used for doing positioning. And then when we go further into the personal area where I want to find something in the cube, in that 8x8 box where somebody is sitting, or inside a particular room in the hospital, that's when you're looking at the quote-unquote PAN-based location, and this is where RTLS kind of systems using Wi-Fi or near-field communication-based aspects, so Bluetooth low energy-based ranging solutions, those will be the play. And the key thing is going to be how do you combine this PAN, LAN, and WAN location, all of that seamlessly for an end experience.
Now, in addition to the hospital room, help me identify and think about other applications in a PAN context for location. In addition to finding where I left the scalpel or whatever it happens to be, can others chime in and help us think about PAN-level applications that rely on location?
One application to combining seamless indoor-outdoor location. For example, take FedEx. FedEx is using Wi-Fi location as well to understand which receiving and shipping dock the containers are.
Okay.
But then when the container goes indoors in the warehouse, then where is it inside the warehouse? Because you cannot hear GPS signals anymore. So then there's a Wi-Fi network there, because Wi-Fi is used in the warehouse for wireless barcode scanning and whatever. So there's indoor and outdoor story that makes sense.
Good
example. Any others? PAN seems to me to be a new frontier as well.
Well, if you look at consumer apps, right, we've been talking about okay, I'll navigate to the shopping mall. Now we're saying I'll navigate from the shopping mall to the store. Well, how do you differentiate the store, right? So if, let's say, I'm visually handicapped and I need to get to the store, then you're looking at that level of accuracy, because a typical storefront is, about 10 feet wide? So I need to be in that range. And so that's that PAN level. Now, how do you get somebody right in front of the store? How does FedEx actually deliver a package inside in a shopping mall, and it ensures that it was delivered inside this shop, not to the shop next to it? So that's the level of ranging, and that's where what I would kind of say is the PAN range.